South Dakota. Okay, so we like to be back here. We like to follow somebody. We like to follow somebody up, and that's what our society tells us to do. But when I'm going to try to put in, animals don't like to be followed. If you try to drive, even in Malta, or go to Billings, or better yet, Denver or Nashville, and try to drive without mirrors, that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a real challenge. Because we'd always be turning our head, and I'd be driving like my grandpa did. When he would turn his head, he would go right with it. And that's a very dangerous way to drive, and you can't drive straight. Yet our habits of our society tells us to get right in behind these animals and push them like we're driving down the road or following somebody through a lunch line. So just by our position coming straight in behind these cattle here, they can't see me, so they have to turn to see me because they don't have rear view mirrors. So the first thing we got to do is figure out how to humanify ourselves when we're working with cattle. And you can use that, you've got to use that knowledge not to get straight in behind them before you get them to the lead up. If you get in behind them there, they're going to turn and you're going to have a hard time getting them to your lead up. And then they're going to go the wrong way, and then you're going to put more pressure on them trying to overcome what you did, and then you might start confusing them. You might start getting them upset. And you might start changing them from the thinking side of their brain to the reacting side of their brain. Now, a good stockman always watches to see where his animal is. When an animal starts lifting its head up, getting bug-eyed, swishing his tail a little bit, you know you're changing that brain, and you better back off or hurry up and get it done before it goes all the way. So really be aware of that. So your position on this animal is very, very important. So I'll use this hat here. You know, everybody talks about flight zone with a animal. And I think that's a good term, flight zone, but we really don't want, that's a negative term. Flight is a negative term if we're talking about working animals properly. So let's call it the pressure zone. We already talked about animals working off of pressure, so let's figure out where the proper pressure comes on so the animal moves away from us from pressure rather than fleeing us from flight. So this hat, really, if you look at it, the cowboy hat, the brim, is a pretty good way to see the pressure zone. When you're straight in behind them, that pressure zone, they don't like you back there. They're saying, get out of there. So this is a big area back here. This is where you shouldn't spend very much time. And if you do, you better be farther back. When you get up on the side of the animal, when you work the animal from the side, this is where the brim comes up and it's closer. So you can work the animal a lot closer from its side without pressuring it too much where it goes to panic. Now straight in front, that's where they want you, because they can see you with two eyes. Just like this hat. When I'm talking to you and shake your hand, that's how you like to see me, because you look me in the eye and see how honest I am. Well, when you're meeting your cow for the first time or whatever, maybe that's a place you ought to see them. Shake their hand the first time where they can see you with two eyes, just real polite. But then, we've got to switch. You can't. It's pretty hard to load one from here. But you can switch over to here, and here's right where this brim of this Greeley hat is bent up here. This is where the best place to work an animal. This is the best place to put them up into that lead up, from right here. And this is about where their eye is. See, up here, I can step forward and they can turn to look at me, and I can give them back to shaking their hands. So you can trust me. As I step back here, now you've all heard of the balance point, right? Balance point. That's where if you get behind the balance point and put pressure on the animal, he goes forward. If you get in front of the balance point, put pressure on an animal, he stops or turns away. But that's always changing. Everybody says it's right at the elbow of the cow or at the shoulder of the cow. That's not right. That's wrong. What that is, because you can, real quick, if we had a bunch of cows and calves right here, started them off, hauled the calves over to here, to this pen, a quarter of a mile down the road, and we kicked those calves, these calves, unload them here, we kicked the cows out of the corral. Where's the balance point on those cows? Right in front of their shoulder? It's a quarter of a mile down here at this corral. That's where you'll get them stopped. So, really the balance point on the cow, it's wherever their brain is. See, right here, these cows are here, but their brain is over at these calves. So you got to get out in front of their brain. Now you could take off running in front of these cows and push their brain back into their head, That's what you do with teenagers. That's what you're trying to, as you're raising teenagers, that's what you're trying to do, is put their brain back in their head. Well, all I'm doing is I'm getting out in front of these cows long enough so I can push their brain back. I might get them stopped there and turn them back. But if you just stop in front of them, they're just going to go around you and come. You gotta push that brain back into their mind. No, their mind back into their body. So by me staying here, I can move down here and get them started. Now, if I was going to turn these cows and walk them back away from these calves, they got by me, I'm going to have to come way back here, put a lot of pressure back here to get them to walk away. So this is always changing, but right here, right where this curl comes up, that's the best advantage we have. If I want them to go forward, I can step back here and start them forward. But if they get to running off or going too fast, I can come right back up here and slow them down. So the farther forward on the animal you can get, the better chance you have of controlling the animal's movement. So stay on their side. Now, however much pressure is coming back, if you have a lot of pressure coming back, you've got to step farther back. If you got a lot of pressure drawing them forward, you better get forward. And that's how you figure out where you need to be. Now, if you need them to move a little bit, if they're not moving very good, you move into the pressure, into the flight zone or the pressure zone to get them to move. So if we can establish the working of our cattle, just like the cowboy hat, that is a good way to understand where to position yourself. Now, when we get into